Okay, welcome to video 3. We're going to be writing and using arithmetic recursive and explicit formulas. So consider the recursively defined arithmetic sequence a sub n equals a sub n minus 1, which remember just means previous term plus 3, with a sub 1 equal to 5. Determine the value of a sub 4. Well, in order to do this, we start with a sub 1 equal to 5, and then define a sub 2. We have to take a sub 1, the previous term, and plug it in where we had the a sub n minus 1, because that means previous term. So it helps to highlight that and write that above it, and then highlight what we're putting in place of the previous term each time. So 5 plus 3 to give us 8. So then to find a sub 3, we take the previous term, the 8, plug it in, and we get 8 plus 3, which is 11, and then finally, to find the fourth, we sub in the 11 and add the 3 to get 14. So determine a sub 4. Well, a sub 4 equals 14. So the question is, how many times was 3 added to 5 to make a sub 4? Well, we had to add 3 to the 5 1, 2, 3 times. So we want to use this idea from part B to find a sub 50. Well, to find a sub 50, that would mean that I'd have to do this plus 3 49 times, since to find 4, I did it 3 times. So 5 plus 49 times 3 equals the 152. So we need to write an explicit formula a sub n for this sequence using a sub 1, d, and n. So our explicit formula would be a sub n equals a sub 1, the first term, plus n minus 1 times the d, the common difference, and then I just solved for this specific example, starting with 5 and the common difference of 3. So if we simplify this formula through distributing and combining like terms, what does the sequence formula look like? And what type of function does this sequence represent? So if I put this, to distribute this 3 to the n and the minus 1, we get 3n minus 3, and then combine like terms, 5 minus 3, we get a sub n equals 3n plus 2. The formula looks like y equals mx plus b, representing a linear function. So we have the arithmetic sequence formula, a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 d. To write and use this rule to find any nth term, you must know the first term, a sub 1, and the common difference, d. And this formula is something that you are given on the exam. It's on your formula reference sheet, so you'll also have it for any tests or quizzes in class. So let's look at this example. Given the sequence 11, 4, negative 3, negative 10, what type of sequence is it and why? Well, in order to figure that out, I have to look and see, well, how am I getting from 11 to 4? Well, one option is to do minus 7. And I want to see if that's true all the way through. So does that work for 4 to negative 3? Subtract 7, yes. And then negative 3 to negative 10, subtract 7. Since that's a common difference, I'm going to say that the sequence is arithmetic. And that's because there's a common difference, d, of negative 7. The next part here says that we want to write a recursive formula for the sequence. Well, remember, recursive is the one that has 2 equations, so we have to give us the first term, so a sub 1 to represent the first term. And then if I look at my list, I can see what a sub 1 is. And the first term in the list is 11, so I'm going to say a sub 1 equals 11. And then we have to give a formula to find any term, so a sub n, any term, equals, and we have to use the previous term. So, well, to get from one term to the next, what did we do? We subtracted 7. So a sub n equals a sub n minus 1, that just means previous term, remember, and then minus 7 to that. So that's a recursive. That's something that I could use to find any term there. Write an explicit formula for this sequence. Well, now I can do that using my arithmetic sequence formula, the one that's given to us on the exam. So I'm going to fill in what I know. So start off with a sub n, just like the formula does. A sub 1 is the first term. Well, I know the first term is 11, so I'm going to replace that with 11 plus n. I don't know what n is. I want this to be a formula that I can use to solve for any term. So n minus 1, and d I can replace with the common difference, which was negative 7. So that would be an explicit formula that I could use, and I just filled in each piece from the formula that I'm given. Determine a sub 30 and describe your answer in words. I'm going to leave that for you to do, and we will talk about it more tomorrow. Have a good night.